We all have 10 games that we absolutely love. We all also have made top 10 favorite games lists. Why am I making one then? Seriously, what's the point of me making one if everyone else has done it? I don't know, I thought it'd be fun, and I like a lot of different and interesting things that just touch my heart in a way that reminds me one thing. Video games can be beautiful and impactful in so many ways. Some of these entries I happen to own multiple copies of, just because I love them that much. If you, yes, you, love any of these games, let me know with a comment below, and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the list. Without further ado, here are my top 10 favorite games of all time. This PS1 gem is probably somewhere in everyone's favorite lists, even if it's just because of that one scene. Yes, you know the one. That scene. Everything about this game is just classic and made with care and ambition in mind. So much ambition, the entire game is split into 3 discs. One of the things that really sells the story are the FMVs, which are the sole reason the game is split into 3 discs in the first place. At the time, these FMVs were too massive for one disc. As a result, they copied the entire game across all 3 discs and gave each one its own set of FMVs. You could, in theory, play the whole game with just one disc. If you don't mind the wrong FMVs playing at the wrong time past disc 1. I won't be considering the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy until after the 3rd game comes out and I finish all 3 games. I don't have too much to say on this one. This game is just beyond gorgeous. There is seldomly any dialogue, and most of the story is presented through action, music, and visual audio dynamics. On top of being a beautiful game, it has the right balance of being challenging, but fair and predictable. I have yet to play Will of Wisps, but it looks to be a fun experience that improves what's already amazing. A cute as heck 3D platformer starring an alien girl on a mission to get her timepieces back for her spaceship. Don't take my word for it. Look at the Steam page description. As a fan of collectathons, this fun little adventure is right up my alley. Catchy and awesome as heck soundtrack, quirky and comedic characters and worlds, and challenging platforming all working together to create a fun package that anyone will enjoy. I also really enjoy the multiplayer aspect of it, and just exploring all of these worlds with my friends. I've even raced some of them in a few worlds. The Steam version of the game also has full modding support, so if you're into that, there's even more cheeky and adorable content for you to enjoy. Much like Ori and the Blind Forest, Hollow Knight is a very similar game. It's a Metroidvania that looks absolutely gorgeous with its hand-drawn style and somber soundtrack. Don't let the fact it's about bugs fool you though. This game is very mean and challenging. I didn't fully complete the game, but I did a majority of the side content, including the Path of Pain. There's a lot of dialogue and lore in Hollow Knight, and your exploration and lore gathering progress will directly influence the ending you'll receive once you finally reach the final boss. Here's to hoping Silksong will surpass the high bar this game already established. Who am I kidding? It's never coming out. What am I kidding? Despite believing that Pirate's Curse is indeed the better game, I wholeheartedly adore Seven Sirens. The snazzy and sharp opening by Studio Trigger hits way too dang hard and fits Shantae and her world perfectly. Funny enough, it isn't the opening for Shantae and the Seven Sirens. It is the opening for Shantae as a whole. It is the equivalent of the Sonic Unleashed opening cinematic. It introduces everything you need to know about the series and what it's about. And it just works. Visually, the game is the same as Half Genie Hero, and yes, there isn't any Kaufman involvement in the soundtrack this time. But the music is still a banger, and that's one of the key parts of Shantae that I think is more important than the game's visuals. It's a little on the easier side, especially at launch, but it had some updates that made it a little more challenging and balanced, which I argue makes the game significantly better. The whole concept of Shantae being given the opportunity to go on vacation only to get thrusted into another hip-shaking adventure is so in character for the series lore. The pacing is almost as good as the pacing in Pirate's Curse, but it still misses ever so slightly. Despite that, Seven Sirens will remain my favorite, and I can only hope the next best Shantae game can dethrone both this one and Pirate's Curse in one hair whip. Hopefully you know a thing or two about deck building. This next game is going to challenge your card game skills and reflexes. One Step from Eden is a game I tried out early last year and set it aside for months. And then I got obsessed with it in the summer and got every achievement and outfit in it in approximately a week or two. This game taught me a lot about patience, synergy, and how dumb I am for wanting to get as close to 100% with this game as possible. Well, I mean, seriously, of all the games I choose one of the harder ones. Despite all that, I loved every second of this game, even after every death. I am no pro, but I like to think I have a decent amount of skill with this game compared to a vast majority. I mean, I have every achievement after all. Even if there is a little cheese involved with it, it has to mean something considering it was even pulled off to begin with. Unwarranted ego boosted aside, One Step from Eden is amazing, and I haven't played Duelist of Eden because I hate PvP. But if more games like this came out, I'm beyond sold. We're no longer exploring the land of Hyrule, we're now exploring the skies above and the deep dark ruins below. Regular weapons are no longer enough. Fusing them with tough enemy materials makes all the difference against these newer and stronger foes. This game takes what was already amazing with Breath of the Wild and increases it tenfold, with newer stakes and wonderful scenery. The cel-shaded visuals and somber sound and music direction are just as good, if not better, than Breath of the Wild's. And also, you can properly ride dragons now. It's an easy 10 out of 10. Let's make science even more ridiculous and fun than it already is. The massive sequel to Portal, Portal 2, was my unrivaled favorite game of all time for a very long time. Everything about it is perfect. The storyline, the tests, the exploration, the background lore. Heck, the game has co-op and community chambers, and both at the same time. Being able to discover the Ratman dens is a mysterious and frankly spooky thing to do, but it builds the environment and the world Portal 2 is taking place in. Portal 2 is undoubtedly the best way to experience a Portal game, and is an easy ranking in my top 3. Just play it! For a Super Nintendo game, Chrono Trigger is beyond impressive. As a collaborative effort between Sakaguchi, Yuji Horii, and Toriyama, Chrono Trigger throws you into a timeless and magical adventure that extends way beyond time itself in order to save the past, present, future, and even the end of time. With a colorful cast of characters of all shapes, sizes, species, and creations, there is never a dull moment or interaction throughout the entire adventure. Combine that with gorgeous visual and audio presentation, and for the first time ever, seamless battle transitions. This game is timeless, and although this is my personal ranking, please give this game a try. It might make it onto your top 10 too. This is the hardest game ever conceived, and yet it's the most addicting and the one I personally love above all others. You must battle your way through the ever-changing crypt. Not only that, you must do it in rhythm and dance your way past every enemy. The game also features a ton of playable characters which each have their own unique play styles and gimmicks and setbacks. It's the perfect distraction to last a lifetime and a fun way to challenge yourself while having a miniature dance party. I forgot to mention the 7+ awesome soundtracks. From many different composers and styles, each soundtrack perfectly represents their respective characters as well as the environment they're diving into. Necrodancer has quickly become an iconic piece of gaming history, especially after it had an official collab with The Legend of Zelda. Of all franchises Nintendo chooses to loan their Zelda IP to, it's Necrodancer, and it works perfectly. I have never been more sold on the conception of Necrodancer than when I first started Cadence of Hyrule, and now I love the original Crypt even more. I'm enjoying my time with the newly released Rift of the Necrodancer, but that's another story for another time. Now you might be wondering, why is there no Pokemon on the list? Pokemon is special and it has its own VIP section in my heart. And I will be ranking every single Pokemon game in their own future videos so I can gush exclusively about Pokemon games for an absurd amount of time. Hopefully this list has been an eye-opener for some people, whether it's to find out more about me and other games I'm passionate about, or if it's to find some new games that you might take interest in. Seriously, give all these games a shot. They're very fun.